said, this my father house and it's all you when you finish working. Now I don't choose purpose that is earthly. What I got promise ain't on the surface. So I gotta guard my eyes now, fortify and guard my mind now. Put more faith in the I am, cause I'm all his, that's fine, no. No sweat, 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 sweat. I gotta carry the cross, carry the burden, carry the pain on my back. That's 1 foot in front of 1 foot. Trust him, not eyes, not my own work. Walk mile on mile in his footsteps. No break, won't break on the conquerors. Conquer flesh for the soul, cause he paid what I owe. No fear in me on the road, cause this is what he showed. When I woke up early from a God visit. 9 pillars underneath a mansion. Rooms on top of rooms with a gold room inside a large temple. Jesus said, this my father house and it's all you when you finish working. Now I don't choose purpose that is earthly. What I got promise ain't on the surface. And that's just like my faith. No play, no games about grace. Flesh broke, I break this bread. Blood spill, I take the strength. Come to communion. Come to your highness when spirit is moving. Come be disciple. Lean on his word and never trust idols. Cause the separation out here real. Ain't no God in how you feel. Only way is how you live. By the gospel that he sent. Kingdom here in your mix. Son and man in the mix. Broken body getting fixed. Move the stone from your chest. Put the glow in your spirit. Promises always kept. Promises always kept. I woke up early from a God visit. 9 pillars underneath a mansion. Rooms on top of rooms with a gold room inside a large temple. Jesus said, this my father house and it's all you when you finish working. Now I don't choose purpose that is earthly. What I got promise ain't on the surface. 9 pillars underneath a mansion at my Abba house. Go to the ceiling, got me feeling like I'm Solomon. Yeah, you got. Yeah. I don't even know what time it was, but it's a true story. I woke up early from a God visit. 9 pillars underneath a mansion. Rooms on top of rooms with a gold room inside a large temple. Jesus said, this my father house and it's all you when you finish working. Now I don't choose purpose that is earthly. What I got promise ain't on the surface. So I gotta guard my eyes now, fortify and guard my mind now. Put more faith in the I am, cause I'm all his, that's fine, no. No sweat, 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 sweat. Carry the cross, carry the burden, carry the pain on my back. That's 1 foot in front of 1 foot. Trust him, not eyes, not my own work. Walk mile on mile in his footsteps. No break, won't break on the conquerors. Conquer flesh for the soul, cause he paid what I owe. No fear in me on the road, cause this is what he showed. When I woke up early from a God visit. 9 pillars under.
Peace, 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 peace. Hey, what's going on, y'all? Back at it again. Topic messed up on the bottom, but we're gonna fix that. Excuse me. I had something spicy this morning. So, we're going to go straight into it. Currently, we all know what today is. Today is election day. And on this election day, we still are getting backlash as black men for something that hasn't even happened yet. You have many women, well, one key figure who decided to tell black men that they were not welcome back in their community, in the black community, if they were seen endorsing and or voting for Donald Trump. Today, we're in code red. The red wave is coming. Reports are already saying that we're having a historical turnout. Reports are already saying that Hispanics and black men are going to swing the vote to Donald Trump. The outrage that is going on in the Democratic Party is how you know that they know Joe Biden is going to lose. They would not themselves be trying to pander and tell black men that they are, how you want to say, they are the blame for something that it has not even happened if the polls were correct and if you were already knowing that Joe Biden was going to win. We all know that Joe Biden is a horrible candidate. He is a horrible, horrible candidate. Who really is voting for Joe Biden? There are a lot of people, thousands of people, voting for Donald Trump. But most people are going to vote against Donald Trump. I don't know if that's a good motivator for people to say, oh, I don't like someone, let me vote against them. But I've watched so many, and we watched them together, so many of these rallies that Donald Trump has had, and his enthusiasm is through the roof. Yesterday in Pennsylvania, Joe Biden was berating the crowd, murmuring, stumbling over his speech, being incoherent. The man is looking like he is being knocked out. Joe Biden is not going to win this race. The race will actually be won today. The red wave will come because, again, the Republicans have said it, and the RNC, as well as Trump has said it, as well as his voters have said it. They want their vote to count. So what they're going to do is they're going to vote on election day. That's what they said. That's the strategy. Joe Biden has not had a ground game where he has been touching and, getting involved with people like Trump has. If you've seen a Biden rally versus a Trump rally, you will see a whole heck of a difference. Joe Biden is not an exciting character. His campaign manager came out yesterday saying that Joe Biden doesn't have the energy. He doesn't have the energy. But they still want this Obama type of energy from Joe Biden when Joe Biden doesn't have that type of energy already. People are not enthusiastic about Joe Biden. The reason why they were enthusiastic about Obama was because he was going to be the first black president. He appealed to so many peoples, especially the black community. He appealed to them as the first black president. Nothing about policy, nothing about really anything other than the fact that he was going to be the first black president. That's not going to happen with a white male, an old white male. And this is not a knock to him. It just is what it is. An old white male does not have the same appeal as a young black male when it comes to the presidential race. And it's showing up because black men are voting for Trump at a higher rate. In Florida, Hispanics are voting for Trump at a higher rate. In Arizona, in Michigan. The fact that the Democrats wanted to create the Hispanic vote as a higher voting bloc than African Americans has backfired on them because historically, the Hispanic group, and it just is what it is, vote Republican. It is what it is. They vote mostly Republican. You can't do anything about that. So again, with this situation with Joe Biden, he wants black vote, the black vote turnout similar to Obama, like I was saying. And he needs black men in order to do that because black men actually voted for Obama at a very high rate. But since Hillary Clinton, that's fallen about 59%. You cannot expect black men to vote against their own will. And this is, like Joe Biden says, a fight for the soul of America. This is a fight for the soul of America because the amount of blame that has been targeted, the assassination of the character of black men everywhere, has been so prevalent in the last 4 years. Black men have been on the chopping block where feminism has taken over, and black women have come to the point where, as a group, blame black men for so much. The tilting of the scales has begun. When we watched the Fox Soul interview with Ice Cube, if you notice in the comment section, many of the black women afterwards were like, they don't represent us. These women do not represent us. Meaning, the appeal of the celebrities is not what black women think. On average, the average black woman does no longer appeal with black women. And I might have screwed that up. But again, actresses, singers, all of the stuff that the Democrats normally throw at you. They want to throw you Eminem. They want to throw you Lady Gaga. They want to throw you Common. They want to throw you Lizzo. They want to throw you John Legend. They want to throw you Black Eyed Peas. They want to entertain you, but they don't want to actually give you any policy. They don't want to promise you policy. They want to give you Despacito at their campaign rallies and talk about Orange Man bad, but they don't want to talk about what they bring to the table. But then when you go to their website, like they told you to go to their website, you see all of the policies that go against you and your livelihood. The reason why, and I watched, this wasn't a liberal channel that I was watching. I think it was Vox News. It was either Vox or the other one. I can't remember. But I was watching it, and what I saw was a few people from the Hispanic community saying why they were voting for Trump. And the reason why is because they can't afford another shutdown. Because if they're the ones who are, and these are not my words, because I know a lot of my Hispanic friends don't just cut grass. Understand that. They own businesses. A lot of the Hispanic business owners can't afford to have their businesses shut down again, especially for a long period of time, because when they make their money, that's how they live. Whether it be cutting grass, running restaurants, whether it be running construction businesses, where they're employing family members, and families and communities are fed from these businesses, and you want to tell them they got to shut down all over again, they're not going to vote for that. Unlike the black community, well, I shouldn't say the black community as a whole, unlike black women who want to continue to vote against their own best interest. We have people like Maxine Waters, Maxine Waters, who has one of the worst districts in the entire country. Maxine Waters has one of the worst districts in the entire country. And guess what she tells black men? Congresswoman Maxine Waters says she will never, ever forgive black Trump voters. We already know who she's talking about. We already know who she's talking about. She's talking about Lil Wayne. She's talking about Ice Cube. She's talking about anybody who has endorsed or looked like they endorsed, because again, Ice Cube never endorsed anyone. He solely said, hey, I went to go talk to the Democrats. I went to talk to the Republicans. The Democrats told me, come back later. We'll holler at you later when we're in power. The Republicans, i.e. the Trump campaign, said, let's look at this. Let's see if we can implement this. Sounds eerily the same way as it was framed for the prison reform with the First Step Act. With the First Step Act, Kanye West and a celebrity came to that was Kanye West and Kim Kardashian came to them, even though that they weren't the ones who started it. They came to him, to President Trump, and President Trump looked at it. And then they implemented the First Step Act. Regardless of what Roland Martin and D.L. Hughley tell you, because they're overseers, regardless of what they tell you, this president is not the worst thing that could happen. No president could ever ruin the United States that much in that short amount of time. That's why it's great that we have only 8 years for a president, because he can do what he does. We can implement what works and what doesn't work on the next go around. Given we're actually using this time to figure out policy. But a lot of people, they're not voting off policy. They're voting off feelings, and most of those people who are voting off feelings are Democrats. Because they get because the Democrats, like Maxine Waters, like this lady right here, gets to tell you that you're not good enough for using your vote in the way that it should be used. And your vote is supposed to go with what you think it's supposed to be. You don't berate people for voting the way that they feel they should be voting. That is called you separating America. That is you causing a division in America. And the biggest thing is they're creating a bigger division between black men and black women in the black community. But yet they want to bring us together. The party of black feminism and feminism as a whole could never bring together the family dynamic that we actually need to move forward. We have them with the Black Lives Matter organization, who said lesbians and gay men are better parents than just men and women together. That's Satanism. That is Satanism. To go against what God already created is Satanism. You can't make babies and create life without man and woman together. These women like Maxine Waters, well, Maxine Waters doesn't even live in her district. She has a $6 million home in California, and she doesn't live in her district, and her district is the worst district out of every district in California. And I would say across America. She has done nothing for black people, or even the black and Hispanic people she says she fights for. It's all rhetoric, it's all rhetoric, it's all rhetoric, no action. No action. None. I can't believe that still here at the last leg, we're still trying to fearmonger and bash black men into voting against their own best interests, into voting for the people who have kept us in shackles this entire time. Are we still going to sit here and allow them to tell us what we can and can't do? As free human beings, as free citizens here in America, the media does not control you. And if you allow the media to control you, you are a slave. The reason why we have a shy Trumper or a shy Trump voter is because the media and the media and the communities that these people live in would shun them because they get looked at like they're crazy. That cannot continue to happen. That cannot continue to happen. Now I'm going to play this video. It's about a 9-minute video, but I'm going to play it for a little bit, and I want you to watch what is going on in this video and listen very clearly what they're saying about why black men are voting for Trump. This is how they feel about us. This is how they feel about us.
Welcome to 2020, A Time for Change. I'm Kristen Myers, joined by Sabeel Marcellus and Jen Rogers. We have a packed show today, so I want to get straight to it. Elections are just 4 days away, and according to the U.S. Elections Project, more than 85 million people have already voted, with states like Georgia seeing a surge in Black voter turnout. I want to bring on Ben Jealous. He's the former president of the NAACP and the current president of the progressive advocacy group, People for the American Way. Ben, thank you so much for joining us today. You know, over the last few months, we've seen a lot of protests over the deaths of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, recently Walter Wallace, just to name a few. Now, according to Pew Research study from this month, actually, more than half of Black adults have been paying more attention to racial inequality than they were in just the past 3 months than they were before. Wondering if you can kind of explain to us and break down for us how much race has become one of the top voting issues for voters in this election cycle.
Well, what we've seen since 2010 is increased targeting of the Black vote. And so there's nothing really like attacking somebody's voting rights to get them to focus on how valuable their vote is. If somebody's not trying to steal your vote, you could take it for granted, but when they are, it's hard not to. And what we know, what we've shown, my friend John Lewis would tell us if he was here, that the antidote to massive voter suppression is, frankly, massive vote mobilization. And so what we've been focused on at People For is specifically going after younger Black male voters under 50, and really helping them understand how important their vote is, and then how they actually follow through. I'll give you 2 quick examples. If Black men had turned out at the same rate as Black women in Florida and Georgia in 2018, well, we would have Black governors of those states right now. And if they had turned out the same rate as Black women in Florida in 2016, we would have a different president. That's how important the Black male vote is.
So Ben, I'm really glad you actually mentioned the Black male voter, because Black women overwhelmingly say that they're going to be supporting Biden. They will be supporting Democratic candidates in this election. But I've been hearing more and more reports of Black men voting for President Trump. I mean, recently, if we're going to look at the celebrities, Lil Wayne had been meeting with President Trump about the Platinum Plan and saying that he would be supporting the president. Right. Wondering what's causing this rift and the desire for Black male voters to vote for Republican candidates, or more specifically, to vote for Donald Trump.
Well, specifically, what we're talking about is more than 10% of Black men. You're talking about like 11%, 12%. 88%, 85%, 89%, 90% of Black men will still vote for Biden. But the reason why you see white men, brown men, Black men, all voting at higher rates for Trump than the women in each category, frankly, is his appeal to chauvinism, to machismo, to patriarchy, by whatever name you call it. And so what you see is in group after group, he trends higher with men. And it's that sort of strongman persona, and frankly, his tie to a past that many of us are eager to move beyond. But for some men, it feels like the most valuable thing they have is the old way. And Trump is definitely tied to the old way in every respect.
It amazes me. It amazes me how these people think that policy has nothing to do with it. And it's more about how Black men feel. How Black men feel. They want more control over women. The reason why they vote Trump is because they want control over women. That's the messaging here. Chauvinism. What is chauvinism? What is patriarchy? It's all of the crap that they've told women over and over again. Over and over again. They've told women that men want control over you. They want to take control. They want to take control. It's about men having control. Fear-mongering. 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 Over and over and over again. Over and over and over again. Fear-mongering to their female base because, as they say it, the Democratic Party, Black women are the backbone of their party. Stealing that sentiment from the Black community, as the Black women are said to be the backbone of our community. They're telling you that Black men only vote for Trump because they want power. That is incorrect, sir. Policy has to do with it. That 10% that you're talking about, that 11% that you're talking about, I am willing to bet a high percentage rating of most of those men are business owners. I just watched CNN have Trump voters sit down, and there was a Black young man sitting there at the table with all of these other people, and he told them why he was voting for Trump, even though Trump seemed to be racist because of his statements. And what he said was, it's because I own a business. I own a business, and I can't afford for you to shut down my business or make me pay higher taxes for my business. He's not voting against his own best interests. These people are delusional. And the only thing they want to do is play these shell games and play smoke and mirrors when they talk about you and your emotions. They want to talk about you and your emotions and try to tell you that your emotions should rule when it comes to politics, and how you feel should rule when it comes to politics. But politics have to come with policy. And if you don't have policy and politics together, then you have a ruling class that is going to destroy your country, because they're going to do whatever they want to, and they're going to play smoke and mirror games with your emotions, because they're going to say, well, you should feel this way. You should feel this way about it. Or they're going to say, well, look at the kids. Look at the women. I'm sorry. I can't vote for a war hawk I can't vote for a war hawk like Joe Biden. Obama and Joe Biden bombed so many countries during their term. During their term, they dropped more bombs than any other president, including Donald Trump. Started more wars than any other president, including Donald Trump. Again, we already know what we're going to get when it comes to Donald Trump. He doesn't want to go to war. He's all about bringing everything back home so that we can make money back home. We can secure ourselves if we're back home because the majority of our troops are back home. That makes sense. The reason why the Germans lost the war in many places was because they were so far away from home, they couldn't get the supplies to the soldiers, so they wore out and they died. That's a war tactic, cut off the supply chain. But guess what? A lot of our supply chain isn't even in America. It's overseas. But again, they don't want to talk about policy and how policy actually affects the country. They want to tell you you should feel a certain type of way. That's why they want to entertain you the entire time. Give you Lady Gaga. Give you... This entire system is crazy. The Democratic Party, they're not crazy, but they're psychopaths. They are psychopaths. They don't care about your families. They're going to raise the taxes on your families. You can look on Joe Biden's own website. He's going to raise taxes. The people who are running Joe Biden right now is very sick, and we can all see it. So when they use the 25th Amendment, like they were going to use on Trump, they're going to use the 25th Amendment to get Joe Biden out of here, and then we're going to have President Kamala Harris, and then her cabinet is going to be filled with Ilhan Omar, Ocasio-Cortez, AOC plus 3. And do we really, instead of putting a female candidate out there for president who is actually competent, they're going to try to sneak a female presidency into power. Because this entire time for the last 4 years, they have been trying to destroy the Trump presidency from the time he said he was going to run until now. They've been trying to impeach him, use the 25th Amendment. They've been trying to they're going to create situations where they're talking about him having different types of failures, different types of they've been trying to throw everything at this man except for the kitchen sink, and they tried the kitchen sink, and then Nancy Pelosi had the nerve to get back on news and say, oh, we're going to do it again. It didn't work the first time. So what they're trying to do is get Joe Biden to win because he's the closest thing to Obama, because Hillary Clinton wasn't, and then turn around and get him out of here. And then after they get him out of here, Kamala Harris will be our president. You know, the Joker, the Mad Laugher, where she got on 60 Minutes and laughed the entire interview. Look that up. The feminist agenda has overwhelmingly taken over the Democratic Party. And feminists do not stand for black people, especially black men. One of the mothers, Margaret Sanger, the creator of Planned Parenthood, the Black Extermination Company, wanted this. They're playing the same game as the serpent in the garden. They're appealing to your ego and your emotions. Surely you will be gods. Surely you won't die. Surely you won't die. You just gotta, follow us. Surely you won't die. But almost every single thing that they put out there is to kill this country. They want to kill the country. They want to make a capitalist country into a socialist country. And that is one of the reasons why many Colombians don't want them in presidency. Because they've come from socialist countries. And they know how socialism works. So when you use the words of socialism or socialist, they cower. Again, Joe Biden is not going to win this election. It's already set up in the cards. He didn't have a ground game. And then the type of game that he was running was all entertainment. How can anyone take him seriously? Every time he ran to a voter block that he needed, he entertained them. He brought them Bon Jovi. He brought them Common. He brought them Jay-Z and Beyonce. He brought the same type of game they were running the entire time. Almost Bill Clinton did the same thing, the saxophone man. Obama singing Al Green. Being on all of the liberal comedian night shows. They want to entertain you while they run the country into the ground. I'm sorry, I see it. They're out of all of the black, and I'm going to end on this, out of all of the black people who are telling black people not to vote for Trump, they never told you to vote for a third party. They only told you to vote Democrat, the same way you've been voting for almost your entire lives. But they never once pushed a candidate for third party, nor did they tell you to vote for a third party. And that should tell you something. They don't want you working for a third party. They don't want anybody to represent you. They want you to represent the establishment, which are those rich white liberals that Malcolm X told you about because they were sheep's and wolves' clothing. You ain't pro-black. You're a minority, a person of color, a colored person to them. They might as well just call you Negro all over again. Love you guys. I truly do. Peace and blessings.